Good morning and welcome. First, I'd like to acknowledge the members of the Air Force ROTC Detachment 49 who are serving as our color guard and will be posting colors at this time. We're also pleased to welcome to our ceremony the Newark Boys Chorus, who will now sing the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, the flags of the United States of America and the state of New Jersey, please rise.
Halfway down the aisle. I got you covered.
Please be seated. As your president, it is my great pleasure and honor to welcome all of you to NJIT's 2013 commencement ceremony. Thank you. This is truly a special day for everyone who will receive an NJIT degree. It is the culmination of an effort that began not with your first class on campus, but in the course of every life experience that prepared you for your success that we celebrate today. The path you have followed to this day has been one of exceptional commitment, hard work, and at times considerable sacrifice. You've excelled in your studies, including some 20 members of the class of 2013 that are graduating with a perfect 4.0 GPA. When I arrived here some 23 years ago, at graduation we had 4. So this year we have 20. You all must be very proud of your success here at NJIT. Your success is also a reflection of support from family, significant others, and friends. Help that all of us need if we are to realize our full potential in life. So first, please join me in applauding those who share in your achievements through the loving, generous encouragement that they have provided to you along the way. Some applause, please. You've also gained immeasurably from the knowledge and dedication of our faculty, administration, and staff at NJIT. For more than 132 years, since our founding in 1881, our university has helped talented young men and women like you acquire a love of learning, an affinity that prepared NJIT graduates for personal success and to be builders of a better future. Going forward, some of you will build in steel and concrete. Like the students who combined learning and fun to once again stand out as winners of the 2013 Steel Bridge and Concrete Canoe competitions. Others will build social well-being and prosperity by applying the diverse scientific and technological capabilities highlighted recently at our Dana Knox Research Showcase. Others of you, through Engineers Without Borders, who've traveled to Haiti multiple times to help the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere to secure safe and healthy drinking water. Others of you in this class who have committed to over 20,000 hours of community service, blood banks, food banks, tutoring students in the Newark schools, and some of your own colleagues here on campus. And many of you will join your knowledge and will join with us your knowledge and entrepreneurial energy. You will share the spirit of the NJIT students who are awarded funding this year in the Capital One Innovation Acceleration Challenge for promising ways that these students, these undergraduates, developed ways for safer cardiac surgery, reducing drowning deaths, treat autism, and minimize the pain felt by children for inoculations or blood tests. You did all of this as both undergraduates here at this institution and as our graduate students. But whatever path you follow after this day, I know that each of you will aspire to build a better world. You will do so professionally through the application of skills and knowledge that you've gained in our classrooms and in our laboratories. At the same time, please be aware of that your abilities can benefit so many others in need. Responding in the future, as so many members of the NJIT community did, who gave up their spring break this semester and helped the New Jersey businesses, industries, and families after the devastation of Hurricane Sandy. We thank you, this class, for all of that. It will take courage and integrity at times, but don't hesitate to promote appreciation of constructive ideas offered by people of all goodwill, whatever their cultural background. Value the diverse perspectives that can contribute to our personal well-being and to a positive future for communities in this country and the nations around the globe. Such appreciation of diversity of ideas and backgrounds is needed more today than ever before. It is also our hope that once your degree is in hand, you will continue to have a very fond and strong relationship with NJIT and continue to build stronger bonds with your alma mater. Return to campus and see how we are building for the future. Next spring, we'll be opening the Warren Street Village. And nearly $100 million from the state of New Jersey was secured for the complete renovation of the Central King Building and the addition to the York Building. The continuing transformation echoes a historic commitment to change that has benefited all of you here today who are graduating from NJIT, and it will benefit the classes yet to come. So in summary, I ask you to remember three things. One, please act with caring and high integrity as you go forward. Two, continue to work hard and set high standards. And three, please reach back and help those who come behind you. I thank you, and once again, congratulations to this outstanding class of 2013. And now some recognitions, please. This year, this 2013 class numbers 2,643 students. I believe it's our largest graduating class. The total number of degrees that university has awarded now is over 74,000. And let me thank some people who've done a yeoman's work this morning, carrying the gonfalons. Well, the gonfalon barriers' names are in your programs. You have been selected by your respective dean to carry your school gonfalon based on your academics and your scholarship. Will the gonfalon carriers, I know you're a little tired, but please stand. The gonfalon carriers, thank you. Thank you. A number of our candidates for baccalaureate degrees are wearing medallions signifying they are graduating with academic honors. The degree, summa cum laude, will be awarded to those who have attained an overall grade point average of 3.85 or higher. These students are distinguished by the gold medallions that they are wearing. These students, there are also others that are receiving magna cum laude, who have attained an overall grade point average between 3.6 and 3.85. These students are wearing silver medallions. And the degree cum laude is to be given to those who have attained a grade point average between 3.0 and 3.6. These students can be distinguished by wearing bronze medallions. I ask all of these students to please rise and be recognized for their academic excellence. Thank you. An equally distinguished group of students is wearing regalia that signify membership in nationally recognized honor societies appropriate to their discipline. Will these graduates please stand to be recognized? Society recognition, please. Oh, come on, there's many more. Thank you. Thank you. Some of you can remain standing. I ask you to now recognize with applause those candidates who participated in the Albert Dorman Honors College. Please stand. Thank you. And a very special group that we'd like to acknowledge are the members who are in this graduating class that have served in the armed forces of the United States. There are over 40 of them in the class today. With those who served in the armed services as a student and are graduating today, please stand. Thank you. I would also recognize a special group of our alumni who are here with us today. Many of them graduated prior to 1963, and we call them our Golden Highlanders. Would they please stand? At this time, I call upon the president, an outstanding president, of the Alumni Association of NJIT, and that is Joseph Stanley. Joe is vice president of the consulting engineering firm Hatch Matt McDonald. Joe received his BS in civil engineering from NJIT in 1978 and an MS in civil engineering in 1985. Joe, please.
Thank you. We'd like to acknowledge the most senior alumnus marching today, Herman Blackman. Herman received his BS in chemical engineering with the class of 1938. He's celebrating his 75th reunion. So, Herman, please come.
Herman, congratulations. We'll be giving you a gift shortly as soon as we can find it. I think that's it, folks.
Yes. Okay. I'll go back.
No,
Yes.
Yes.
Pointer was supposed to be here.
I know.
Okay.
Should we step out in front? I'm going to step out.
Yes.
Yeah.
In front, and I'm gonna walk up to the steps.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question. Is anybody excited today? All right. I'm excited too. This happens to be my birthday, and I can't think of a better way that I could spend with all of you celebrating your graduation. Just remember the enthusiasm that you have today and carry that through for the rest of your lives. Remember what this institution has meant to you. And please, on behalf of the Alumni Association and our 74,000 some odd members, we'll wish to welcome you to the Alumni Association and hope to see you at our upcoming Alumni Weekend, which will be May 16th to the 18th, 2014. See, that's one of the things that I do. I have to hawk this. So please come and thank you and enjoy your day.
You will certainly cross paths with Joe, and you will hear those dates at least a dozen more times, at least once a month, right, Joe? Absolutely. Several members of our NJIT Board of Trustees are here with us today. One in particular I'm going to ask to come forward. Kathy Wykopolsky, please. I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the dedication and contributions of Kathleen Wykopolsky to NJIT. She is the first female chairperson of our Board of Trustees. She has served as a member of the board since 1998 and chair since 2004. Her long-standing leadership has been demonstrated on many fronts, including her work as the co-chair of the Audit and Finance Committee. Later today, Chairman Wykopolsky will confer degrees one last time. We take this opportunity to salute her and her family and to thank her for her generous contribution of 15 years of time and talent to our university. The good news is She will continue to serve on our Board of Trustees. So please wait here a moment. We've got to find the prop guy. Additional members of our Board of Trustees, please stand when called. Hold your applause. Steve DePalma, our chair-elect. Steve is a 1972 alumnus of the university. Vincent DiCaprio, co-chair of the Board of Trustees, also a 1972 alumnus of the university. Peter Sestaro, an alumnus 1968. Elizabeth Garcia, an alumnus of 1973. Oh, there she is. Anthony Knapp, please. Larry Rayer, an alumnus of 1965, and Anthony Slimowitz, our Board of Trustees, please. Thank you. Thank you. Our Board of Overseers, they are responsible for the shepherding of our foundation. Our chair, a double alumnus of 1968 and 1977, Phil Rinaldi, please. Hold your applause, we have more. Steve Annunziato of 1982, the class of 1982. Nick DeNicolau, double alumnus, 73 and 78. Karen Fryer de Souza, please. Emil Herkett. Marjorie Perry, class of 05. Thank you very much, our Board of Overseers representatives. As well, we have, you've already met the president of our Alumni Association, Joe Stanley, again a double alumnus, 1978 and 85. Fred Bruno, 1947, is with us. John Kamsa, 1959. Marcia Lindsay, who's 09 and 11, and she's the co-chair of our Young Alumni Group. Joe Messina, 1947 and 1953, a double alumnus, and Richard M. Miskey, 1960. In addition, and you'll be seeing them shortly, we have outstanding honorary degree recipients today. Lieutenant General Polakowski, an alumna of 1978. Mr. Edward Cruz, an alumnus of 1963, and Mr. Carlos Dominguez. Let me also please acknowledge the folks I get to work with very closely. Fadi Deek, our Provost and Senior Vice President and Dean of the College of Science and Liberal Arts. Henry Maumeier, our Senior Vice President for Administration and Treasury. Senior Vice President for Research and Development, Don Sebastian. Charles Fay, Vice President for Academic Support and Student Affairs. Charles Dees, Vice President for Advancement. Kay Turner, Vice President for Human Resources. Henry Ross, Chief of Staff. Holly Stern, our General Counsel. Basil Balsas, Dean of the Newark College of Engineering. They always bring their own group. Urs Goshat, Dean of the College of Architecture and Design. Charles Brooks, Assistant to Dean, College of Science and Liberal Arts. Pius Egbalou, Dean, School of Management. Atam Dewan, Dean of the Dean of the Albert Dorman Honors College. James Geller, Dean of the College of Computing Science. And we have some special guests today with us from the Polytechnic of Valencia. There we have a partnership agreement, and a couple students from that university are graduating here today. Enrique Ballester, who's the Dean of the School of Design Engineering, Polytechnic University of Valencia, Spain. Jack Gentle, Dean of Students, and today's mace bearer. Marino Santos, our Associate Provost for Graduate Studies. Judith Redling, Associate Provost for Academic Affairs. Dave Ullman, Associate Provost and Chief Information Officer. The other guest from Valencia, Luis Sanchez Ruiz, Associate Dean, School of Design Engineering, Polytechnic University of Valencia, Spain. Kathy Kelly, Associate VP for Enrollment Services. Judith Sheff, Associate Vice President for Technology Development. Gail Tennant-Spock, Associate Vice President for Continuing Education. Richard Sweeney, our university librarian, Lawrence Tony Howell, our executive director of EOP. He always brings his old group as well. Sharon Morgan is Associate Vice President, First-Year Students, and Clarissa Gonzalez-Lenahan, our Associate Director for Graduate Studies. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now we are most fortunate to hear from our senior class president and who served as the class crier today, Vanessa Castablanco. Vanessa will be later on in the ceremony receiving her Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering. Vanessa, please.
President Bloom, members of the Platform Party, faculty, parents, graduates, and honored guests. Good morning and congratulations to NJIT's graduating class of 2013. As senior class president, I have the honor of representing the best class that NJIT has ever seen. After I was told I would be speaking at commencement, I knew I wanted to make this speech really memorable. I couldn't think of anything, so I turned to my greatest source of inspiration, Google. After searching the web for hours, I found some significant topics to talk about. They included dedication, ambition, and perseverance. I then realized that these topics would easily serve as the basis for one of the most boring speeches I have ever written. It is safe to assume that I turned down that idea and decided not to rely on technology to write a paper for once in my life. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, class of 2013, graduating from the best public university in New Jersey. It's hard to believe that 4 to 5 years ago, we opened up our college chapter as freshmen in Miniversity, and now today, as seniors, it closes after walking across this very stage behind me. I know many of you are sitting here counting down the days until you get out into the real world, work, and make money. But sooner or later, you will begin to reflect on your college experience and you will begin to miss these days. Remember the good things of college: living on your own, the freedom, the people, the events, the parties. And then remember the not so good things: homework, midterms, finals, all-nighters, 8:30s. Like everything in life, there is a good and a bad side, but always trust that experience in the end is a profit to any successor. And as a class, experience, we most definitely did. We were the class that actually got to experience having snow days, the class that didn't have a Halloween as a result of a severe snowstorm. We were the class that survived the wrath of Hurricane Sandy and were forced to live like cavemen again. And for those of you who believe in the Mayan prophecies, like myself, we were the class that survived the end of the world. As graduating seniors, now is the time to reminisce our time in college and move on to the bigger and greater things in life. Make your dreams a reality and live the life you've worked so hard for. Even though we are all going our separate ways, we will always be unified by one thing: the fact that we are NJIT alumni. So take with you what you've learned here and go out there and show what it means to come from NJIT. Okay, so that pretty much sums up the words of inspiration I'm supposed to include in my speech. Now it's time for me to give my thanks. I would like to thank my mom for always being there, my dad for always being there. I would like to thank my friends, mi gente, for always being there. I would like to thank Robert Moran, Dean Gentle, Mr. Howell, Dr. Perna, Dr. Hanishan for always being there. And because he asked for a shout out, I'd like to thank Andrew Lamb, a genius graduating senior in information technology, for helping me out in all my senior class events this year. I'd also like to thank my little brother Kevin, as he's always been one of the most important people in my life. I hope you're taking notes, because I expect you to be here in 7 years making your own speech. Lastly, I'd like to ask for a round of applause for all the parents and guardians in the crowd for all the hard work they put into raising their children over the years. So please. Congratulations, colleagues and friends. Here's to a new chapter in our lives.
We now move to the presentation of the awards and honors the university bestows every year. the extraordinary individuals we recognize today with honorary degrees. The university's highest honor were selected based on the basis of their contribution to their profession and to society at large. In your programs, you will find citations about our honorees. I now call upon Chair of the Board of Trustees, Kathleen Wykopolsky, to present these honorary doctorates, and Chair-elect Steve DiPalma to help hood the recipients. Please.
Will Mr. Edward Cruz please come forward? After graduating from NCE, Mr. Cruz went to work at his father's company, Cruz Construction, which was founded in 1951 and by 1963 was establishing a name in the utilities construction business. From 1974 to 1984, he headed the company with his cousin Evaristo. In 1982, Cruz Construction Company had attained the enviable listing by Engineering News Record as one of the top 400 U.S. construction companies. The events of September 11, 2001 brought unexpected challenges to E.E. Cruz and Company. Many of its employees volunteered for the initial cleanup, and the company went on to undertake some of the first rebuilding contracts. Cruz served as president of the New Jersey Utility Contractors Association. In 1978, he received the National Utility Contractors Association's Ditch Digger of the Year Award, its highest honor. And in 1987, he was accepted as a member of the Moles, an association of contractors and engineers from all corners of the United States. In 2002, he was elected its president, and on January 25, 2006, he received its award for Outstanding Achievement in Construction. Cruz was honored with NJIT's Edward F. Weston Award in 1983. Helping to build and rebuild the J. Malcolm Simon Soccer Stadium was a labor of love, as is providing scholarships to worthy students, not only at NJIT, but also in the Ironbound community, and supporting NJPAC with its community-centered programs, along with helping the Ironbound Boys and Girls Clubs with its fundraisers. In recognition of his outstanding career as a businessman and community leader, New Jersey Institute of Technology is pleased to confer the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa upon Edward Cruz.
Step out to my right.
Will alumna Lieutenant General Ellen Polakowski please come forward? Lieutenant General Ellen M. Polakowski is the Commander, Space and Missile Systems Center, Air Force Space Command, Los Angeles Air Force Base, California. She's responsible for more than 5,000 employees nationwide and an annual budget of $10 billion. As the Air Force Program Executive Officer for Space, General Polakowski manages the research, design, development, acquisition, and sustainment of satellites and the associated command and control systems. General Polakowski entered the Air Force in 1978 through the ROTC program here at New Jersey Institute of Technology. She then attended the University of California at Berkeley and received a Doctor of Philosophy in Chemical Engineering in December 1981, entering active duty at McClellan Air Force Base in California in April 1982. General Polakowski's career has spanned a wide variety of technical management, leadership, and staff positions, including command at the wing and center levels. She has served most recently as commander of the Air Force Research Laboratory. Major awards and decorations include the Defense Superior Service Medal with 2 oak leaf clusters, the Legion of Merit, the Defense Meritorious Service Medal, the Meritorious Service Medal with 2 oak leaf clusters, the Air Force Commendation Medal with oak leaf cluster, the Air Force Achievement Medal, and the Air Force Individual Recognition Ribbon. In recognition of her outstanding career with the United States Air Force, New Jersey Institute of Technology is pleased to confer the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa upon Lieutenant General Ellen Polakowski. Will Mr. Carlos Dominguez please come forward? Thank you. Carlos Dominguez is a senior vice president at Cisco Systems, Inc. He has been at Cisco for 20 years. Before his current role at Cisco, he ran worldwide service provider operations for 3 years and previously was vice president for U.S. service provider sales. Under his leadership, service provider grew in revenue from $500 billion to $2.5 billion. Prior to that, he led Cisco's enterprise line of business in the northeastern United States, where he established Cisco in strategic markets such as financial services, media, government, and pharmaceuticals. Mr. Dominguez speaks and motivates audiences worldwide about how technology is changing how we communicate, collaborate, and especially how we work. His style is humorous, highly animated, and full of deep insight into how technology and the right culture can create winning companies. His talks address many questions about collaboration, including what motivates people to collaborate, how to establish rewards for collaborating, how to find the right experts, both inside and outside your company, and how to keep people coming together, both online and in person. Mr. Dominguez is a member of the prestigious CDC Foundation, which connects the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to innovative ideas and expertise from outside partners. He is also a board member of the Institute of Large-Scale Innovation, a group of international leaders who use innovation to help solve complex global challenges. Prior to Cisco, he held management positions at Timeplex in Woodcliff Lake and at New Jersey Bell Atlanticom. Mr. Dominguez is a member of NJIT's Board of Overseers, as well as a member of the Marketing and Branding Committee. In recognition of his outstanding career in global communications, New Jersey Institute of Technology is pleased to confer the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa upon Carlos Dominguez. Congratulations. At this time, I would like to invite Mr. Carlos Dominguez to present the commencement address to the class of 2013.
It's all yours. Thank you very much. Good morning. By the way, you can cheer and laugh and have fun now. You know, this is a really happy day. I want to begin by saying good morning to all of you. And again, Dr. Bloom, Board of Trustees, my fellow Board of Overseers, my fellow honorees, I am so humbled to be in your company. Also, the parents that are here, I'm sure as a parent myself, I can only imagine how happy you must be. Applause to the parents. Also to all the guests that are here, and to my incredible, beautiful, supportive wife, Tina, my two daughters, Kat and Tara, and my future son-in-law on Saturday, who's marrying my daughter, Audie. Welcome. And most importantly, welcome to the NJIT graduating class of 2013. Go get them. Truth be told, I've been really nervous preparing for this day. It's kind of ironic because in my role at Cisco, I'm a professional speaker, and I kind of go out and talk to audiences, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week. But delivering a commencement address is a great responsibility, and sometimes something that we should approach with great caution. I've been worried that I would offer you all some advice, and I would be responsible for somehow derailing what would otherwise be an incredible professional career. This is a huge burden to carry, and so I thought actually. In doing research, also on Google, I found an interesting fact that assuaged my fears that all of you at your 10-year anniversary, over 90% of you will not recall the name of your commencement speaker. And number 2, you won't remember a word he said. So it kind of, in some sort of way, it kind of gives me the freedom to talk to you. Today is truly a very emotional and a significant event for me. I never graduated from college. This is something I've always regretted and something that I should have done, but in my case, life got in the way. Today is the closest thing that I've ever come to graduation, and I am so incredibly thrilled to be a part of yours. Thank you so much for helping me fulfill this lifelong dream. As my daughters reminded me, they told me, don't get too excited, Dad, because, about this particular degree, because you're using the easy pass lane to get it. So, I agree. In my role at Cisco as a technology evangelist, I am blessed to have a job that I love. I'll admit it, I'm a tech nut. If you ever see me walk past a Best Buy or an Apple store without looking in, I want you to assume that I have been kidnapped, and it's a signal for you to call the police. As I'm out representing Cisco, I often have the opportunity to meet and interact with students from all around the world. By the way, that is absolutely my favorite thing to do. The interesting thing is that regardless of where I am in the world, the 2 questions I get asked all the time are the same. They are, first, how much money do you make? And number 2, what made you successful? In many ways, these students are brilliant. They are trying to size up how hard they're going to have to work and exactly what sort of reward they're going to get. Although the correct answer to those 2 questions are, number 1, not enough, and secondly, I don't know, I've been asked these questions so many times that it has forced me to reflect upon them. I've realized that my success and my passion has come from my family. Please allow me to share a few stories with you. In many ways, my family story is the classic American dream. I was born in Cuba in 1958, the son of a Cuban father and a Chinese mother. Believe it or not, Chinese-Cuban are not that uncommon, and as a matter of fact, Cuba was the largest population and community in all of Latin America. And yes, in case you care, my favorite dish is fried rice with black beans on top. Get them all covered. In many ways, my thinking of this story of ours, we commuted, and left Cuba in 1962. And I imagine with much trepidation, my parents made a very difficult decision. They decided to leave their homeland and trade all their possessions, their family, and their friends in exchange for freedom. Although I was only 4 at the time, I still recall vividly my parents and grandmother hugging and crying as the tires of our DC-9 finally left their beloved homeland. I also remember the applause on the airplane when the pilot announced that we had left the Cuban airspace and we were now truly free. I'm sure they were relieved to be leaving this oppressed society, but also I knew that they would never see their families again, and they never did. My father, Hector, was an amazing man with great talents. We shared the same birthday, he and I. Hector was many things. Certainly, he was adaptable. I imagine the stress he would have gone through when at the age of 40, he moved to a new country with a wife, a mother-in-law, and 3 kids in tow. A country with a different language, weather, culture, and pace. Being adaptable in that circumstance was a matter of survival. I often reflect upon this story as a reminder that survival requires a certain level of adaptability, regardless of your situation. Many moons ago, when you were a freshman at NJIT, all of you had to adjust to the pace and the cadence of this great institution. I can imagine that it wasn't easy, but yet you were able to adapt and to survive and now to graduate. As you enter your next phase, the work phase, you will once again enter the zone of adaptability. You will be doing this throughout your entire life, and please have the courage and knowledge that you have done it before and you will continue to do so. So success criteria number 1 is become adaptable and do it early and do it often. I remember years ago when I was selected by Hispanic Engineer magazine as one of the top 50 Hispanic business leaders in the U.S. My father at the time was undergoing lung cancer treatment, and when I visited him at the hospital, I could see how proud he was, and he was hugging me with tears welling up in his eyes. I remember looking at him and telling him, "Dad, it's really no big deal. They only had 48 people, and they didn't want to pick an odd number like 48, so they went out of their comfort zone, actually picked me with no engineering degree and, basically qualified on the Hispanic side. As a matter of fact, they picked another person who didn't even live in the U.S., so that's how they got to their 50. Success criteria number 2, be humble and be kind. You will achieve much in your lifetime, and much like the commencement speech, people won't remember all of your ribbons and degrees, but they will remember how you conducted yourself. You will have many instances that you will have the opportunity to show kindness and exercise kindness as much as possible. My dad, Hector, also loved innovation. We lived in a big apartment building in Union City, along with all the other Cuban immigrants. We were always first to get the latest gadget. I wonder where I got that from. I remember the whole family's sense of awe when one day, out of the blue, my dad went out and bought a Zenith color television entertainment console. This was back in 1964. This was a 400-pound monster, and it was like the 8th wonder. 4 guys tried to carry it in, and they couldn't even fit it through the door. You have to understand, 6 of us lived in a tiny, tiny apartment, and the Zenith console dominated the whole living room, which otherwise consisted of a sofa, a chair, a small table. But boy, it was amazing. The cabinetry was superb. When it was closed, it was just like an ornate piece of furniture in dark walnut wood. But if you slid the doors at the front, there was a record player on the side, and if you opened up another door, a radio tuner on the other, the front doors opened, and there was a 25-inch, seemed big at the time, gray screen that sprang into color the moment you turned it on. That Zenith console TV was our dad's pride and joy. But it was not only a color TV, it also came with a Space Commander remote control. No one on our block had ever seen a remote control before. This one looked like a small brick. It was a mechanical system, and inside the transmitter were 4 aluminum rods that emitted clicking sounds when struck. And when you pressed the button to change the channel, the tuner right on the TV went cha-chung, cha-chung, cha-chung as the channels changed. Of course, our neighbors wanted to come and watch Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie on our new TV, and I begged my parents, don't tell them about the remote control. And I would sit there behind the couch and change channels while they were watching. That was strange, one would say, and get up and change the channel back. Then I would do it again. No one could understand why the TV was possessed. Meantime, I was almost having a seizure from laughing so hard. It was like America's Funniest Home Videos, but better. This went on for about a week until I finally got busted. But boy, was it fun. So lesson number 3, like my dad, find your passion. And for my dad, it was all about technology. It was TVs, it was rangefinder cameras, it was music, it was Super 8 movies. You name the electronic device, he owned it. Whether you admired his electronic or not was not the point. The way these devices made him smile and giggle explained the joy and passion he derived from them. His passion was contagious, and it was clearly a major influence in my love and my passions of all things electronic. I imagine he would have loved my job even more than I. The point is, finding your passion is key. So make passion something that you care about. The 4th scene in my memory is an evening of July 20th, 1969. The family was sitting around again, our Zenith console, when along with the rest of the country, we were enthralled by the moon landing. Here's Walter Cronkite. He comes on with that famous black and white footage. Neil Armstrong is bouncing on the moon, and strangely, I remember my grandmother getting furious about it. Es una mentira, she declared. Flinging her arms in the air, it's a lie, is what she said. And with that, she drew her tiny frame out of the chair and stormed out of the room. She simply refused to believe that a man was on the moon. I'd consider her the first moon landing conspiracy theorist. I don't know about you. Why did this happen, and what can we learn from it? So lesson 4, believe that everything and anything is possible. You know, we are in a moment in time where we'll see vast changes happening in our lives at a rate that we could never imagine before. I can imagine all of you graduating today explaining to your kids one day why you drove a car, why you carried paper, metal, and plastic in your pockets to pay for things, why you didn't have a robot to clean up after you, and that would have come in handy in your dorm room, I bet. Don't get left behind. Allocate time to learn and foster a belief in the seemingly impossible, because the seemingly impossible will be our new reality. And the last thing brings me back to how I began this commencement speech, with the fact that I never graduated from college. Although I never got a degree, I want you to know that my success didn't happen by accident. If I had to pick one thing that I've done that has given me the biggest edge, is that I have dedicated myself to lifelong learning. I may have not done it in a traditional way, but I spent countless hours each day reading and learning. I'm constantly experimenting with new things and forcing myself to be uncomfortable. You see, I've learned that being uncomfortable and over my head is the way I want to live, because that's when I am learning the most. Fear is a great motivator for me, but I am fearless about trying new things. As you graduate from this great institution, remember that NJIT has given you the tools to succeed. You have proven that you can learn and that you can deliver. You should be proud of what you have accomplished. But I remind you that lifelong learning will be the key to your success in the future and the biggest weapon against obsolescence. Please remember to adopt early and often, to be humble and kind, to find your passion in everything that you do. Believe that anything and everything is possible, and success will require lifelong learning. Thank you for the great honor, and I wish you all an incredible and wonderful life.
Thank you, Mr. Dominguez. Outstanding points to remember. At this time, I invite the Newark Boys Chorus to sing The Drinking Gourd, arranged by Andre Thomas. I thank the Newark Boys Chorus, our city, Newark's finest musical ambassadors, for adding their beautiful voices to our commencement celebration.